Good evening. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. The UDP calls on government to put a pause on the Safe Third Country agreement with the U.S. You'll hear why. Plus, we'll have the response from the foreign minister. Also, UDP Senator Sheena slams a system for failing. Angelita Magana. Plus, Belize's male volleyball team returns home from Guatemala with a sour taste in their mouth after they were robbed of a bronze medal by poor officiating. These stories and much more are ahead on 7 News Tonight, so please stay tuned.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
So I want to do farming, fruits, vegetables, anything. You don't have to go out there and buy, you have your own thing.
This never happened when I come in the tube, baby. That's what it do.
200 lots, more lots than people with land ever cost you. So when I pick them when I'm born yet to get land.
You could look at all of them, how happy they are. They're so, man, these people don't know how to express themselves right now.
People who have never had a land before, will live here for years, finally get something to say, okay, I have something in my name,
So when you get your piece of land, you have to hold on to your land. You have something to pass on to your picnic.
Use your land, make it useful.
Don't sell your land because it is gold. You're investing in your own selves and your children down the road.
I know how to say thank again because it's a great achievement.
All right. When the one fun the hand, the window open and the light may turn off. You look like you listen to me, Jamie.
Not only that, I even get a new coffee mug. We keep my coffee hot all day.
I'm impressed. You don't look like you're so hard here.
Better than that, BL can change my meter to one of their new smart meter. They call it the AMI.
Oh, I hear about it on TV from a BL ad, you know.
Yes, man. They don't reach the money better to change it right now. Let's go check it out.
Hey, guys. I'm almost done here.
So that when you reach my area,
We're upgrading meters across Belize, house by house, business by business. Always look out for BL logo, uniforms, and IDs. BL will make you know when we're in the area. The EMI meter rollout is a part of BL strategy to modernize our energy services.
you don't need to come in at my house, right?
Come in your house, boss, only if you got something good for you.
BEL, bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
I'm Randall Friesen and I manage Westville Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high quality locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly and just overall their service is excellent.
These charter means aren't
We're navigating along the coast.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Sheree Culsel,
And here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm the bureaucrat.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
impact on the broader economy will be even more beneficial. First and foremost, the hydro plant, powered by Belizean waters, is returning to Belizean ownership so that Belizean shareholders will benefit from its electrical power and the profits it generates. From the standpoint of energy security, the standpoint of national security, the standpoint of having local control over the electrical power necessary for our livelihoods and our economy, these acquisitions, and in particular, the hydropower plant acquisition, is a monumental gain for Belize and Belizeans.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double B-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Saturday. That's right, 2 times the B-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with B-Bucks Builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, B-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's. Quality and savings.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We begin our newscast with one of our top stories tonight, where tonight the opposition, UDP, is calling on the government to pause the implementation of the Safe Third Country agreement with the foreign minister signed with the United States on Monday. The agreement permits the U.S. to send asylum seekers from other countries, excluding Guatemala, to Belize for processing. Once in Belize, those migrants would be able to seek protection here under Belize's own asylum laws. But while it has been signed, it has not yet been ratified. Only a meeting of the Senate can do that. At a press conference today, the leader of the opposition outlined the many reasons why she says the government needs to hold off on ratification. Here's more.
This agreement, by its very nature, can reshape Belize's immigration and asylum systems and impose new financial burdens on taxpayers in an already overtaxed reality. The full text of the agreement has not been disclosed. The preamble to the agreement and some of the recitals has recently been shared with members of the Senate. However, the full text, the comprehensive text, including the annexes, transitional arrangements, technical assistance, and cost-sharing commitments, have not been disclosed. The annual cap on numerical limits also remain unknown. How many asylum seekers will Belize be accommodating? 50? 500? 5,000? It's anybody's guess. There is no published cost assessment or fiscal impact study on how much this will cost Belizean taxpayers. We haven't understood the implication for housing, for healthcare, for education, for legal representation or integration of these transferees into our Belizean society. There has been no consultation with civil society, with members of the House, or even our border communities. And I ask, what oversight mechanisms are in place? The people of Belize, you and I, are being asked to trust what we cannot see, what we do not know. And that, my friends, is unacceptable in our democracy. Let us be honest. Belize is not readily equipped to take on this new responsibility. Our refugee and immigration systems are already under-resourced. Our social services are stretched thin. Our security apparatus, if we have one, faces constant budgetary strain. How can we, in good faith, commit to absorbing these asylum seekers, transfer from one of the world's richest countries, when our own citizens continue to struggle for access to basic social services? To claim that Belize can become a safe third country for others when we are fighting to make Belize safe and prosperous for our own people, when we are fighting to preserve the safety and security of our own citizens, when we're fighting to preserve our national sovereignty, is both unrealistic and irresponsible. Belize must guard against any policy that compromises our independence or turns us into, the lack of a better term, a dumping ground for rejected asylum seekers. If we are to process asylum claims, it must be under conditions that guarantees due process and basic human dignity. Anything else risks violating both international law and our very own Constitution. Who will fund, may I ask, the required infrastructure, the screening centers, the housing, the medical care facilities? Will the funds from the US be in the form of grants, in loans, or tied to some other arrangement? And who will oversee the management of these resources? We, the opposition, therefore calls for an immediate release of the full agreement between Belize and the US. We also believe that it is necessary that we have a full parliamentary debate before we seek ratification, so that we hopefully can add some value to the agreement itself and the proposed operating procedures that have not yet seen the light of day. Until these conditions can be satisfied, we call for a pause, a suspension, if you will, of all preparatory actions under this agreement. Belize must never be a participant in arrangements that we simply cannot sustain, that we cannot afford, and we cannot or choose not to justify to our people. We support international cooperation, but not at the expense of our sovereignty.
And the Minister of Foreign Affairs has made it clear that the agreement isn't a secret document and, in fact, has already been shared with the National Assembly's clerk for her to pass on to the senators. He added that the opposition will get the chance to debate the agreement before it is ratified. Here's more.
We've already shared it with the clerk, the senators, so the senators should have access to that. It's not a secret document. So yes, they will be able to have that and debate it. I already made the point that there's a process that this has to follow. We sign the agreement, but it has to be ratified by the Senate. So there will have to be tabled. It will have to be tabled at the Senate. We've already sent it over to the Senate. It will have to be debated there. We will have to respond to any questions and concerns raised by the senators. But there's also another limb which will require that we amend our domestic legislation, right? Domestic legislation. So, for example, the Refugees Act will have to be amended. And so that will have to be taken to Parliament, to the House of Representatives. And there again, we will present that amended bill, and we'll have an opportunity to debate that and discuss that. So it will be a very open, transparent process. And then the final point is that, as I have said, and I said in my statement in the House on last Friday, this entire agreement will be underpinned by what we call operational procedures. So the signing was just the beginning of the process. And we have to finalize those operational procedures between ourselves and the United States. And only when we have finalized that, when it has been ratified, when we have done the domestic legislation, and we have finalized and agreed upon the operational procedures, only then will the agreement take effect. So those steps have to be followed, and all of those steps will be very open and transparent. As I have already said, Belize's position is very clear. We have, a statement of principles that govern our position as it relates to the operational procedures, which means that we will determine which countries of origin these people will come from. For that, in our case, it will be people from Central America and the Caribbean. In Central America, with the exception of Guatemala, for obvious reasons. And then we will place a cap on the number of people who will be able to be transferred to Belize. And our position is that that number should not be more than 10 people per annum. Now, this is a 2-year agreement in the first instance. So we're talking about 20 people. So, I think it's important for the Belizean people to understand that.
And speaking on another matter of public interest, Senator Sheena Pitta discussed the systemic failures that led to the arson murder of Angelita Magana and her children, Shadia Magana and Tishan Godoy. The 3 of them were buried together today in Orange Walk at a funeral where the community and classmates came out in numbers, and the air was thick with grief. It's probably the most horrific domestic murder ever witnessed in Belize. But Senator Sheena asked, beyond well-meaning words of anger and outrage, what's being done to protect the next victim?
But from all the talkings we've heard from the special envoy, from the Minister Kevin Bernard, have you heard any of them say what they can do or what can be done to address the problem? We've heard the multi-sectoral approach in relation to crime. When will we see true multi-sectoral approach to gender-based violence and not the response to it? Because the response to it is an indication that we've been doing nothing to address what causes it. We are doing nothing in an interwoven way to address gender-based violence from the beginning. We're only responding, and our response so far is to decry it. Our response so far is to remember names. Our response so far is to say, at least the bloody man dead. Are those responses meant to address gender-based violence? We need to mainstream gender sensitivity training. Being able to identify early abuse and the signs of abuse. Abuse that not only when they lick up you know. Abuse that also when they tell me, you see you don't got to pick me for me. No next man I want you after me. As a practitioner, I have had to go to the courts for restraining orders. And unfortunately, I will tell you, when it has to do with out district, on certain days, the magistrate we could deal with that matter. And when you're dealing with a victim who is traumatized, seeking professional help to be able to go in that court to ask for the very restraining order, we get a jurist who does not understand the policy behind taking a no tolerance to gender-based violence. Now, can you think the average woman who is already oppressed by the shame of abuse, oppressed by the financial circumstances she finds herself, oppressed by fear and trauma, having to go to magistrate court, high court, court of appeal, and at no turn seeking satisfaction? We need specialized gender-based violence courts. Not just a particular day when the judge does family matters. It should be as a matter of priority whenever it arises. Our legislation that says when you go for a restraining order, it's given only for a particular number of days in the first instance. Angelita got one. Did she have one protecting her at the date of her death? How is it we will have a legislation that says you can get an order but only for 21, 28 days? Really? Really? How is it that when you go to the police department to tell the police department the man got a gun, and anytime he talk to me strong, he take it out, make a see. I am in fear of my life, and the police tell him, yeah, don't worry about that. The man no use it. No crime no get committed, like brandishing a gun in your face to make you understand that me got the power versus you. Where is the follow-up and follow-through? That is what failed Angelita. Because she did what the law says she must do. But where was the follow-up and follow-through? And civil society and faith-based organizations not get off the hook, you know. Because me sit down and pray in our corner for my man no bitch like me not help me, you know. Get up and get active. Because it cannot be that much like how the government is asking us to forget who thief Budna, you want to sit down and actively participate in forgetting that Angelita was a victim.
And while no one could argue with the sincerity of the passion of Pitts, we did note that when she delivered her 24-minute presentation, her senator colleague, Patrick Faber, who has his own history of domestic violence accusations, was sitting just 5 feet away. Our news director, Jules Vasquez, did ask about it, but he got scolded.
Feel any compromise in speaking as clearly and lucidly as you did when your party has a very spotty track record on abuse, and it includes your fellow senator, Mr. Farber.
You know, Mr. Vasquez, that question is very telling. That the call I made on all of us in here to take individual responsibility, you have decided that you will not. Right. You know, what you have shown to me is that instead of promoting the responsibility to end it, no, you prefer to go back to a time to join with the death of Angelica and her children and Kira to a point when someone else shared an unfortunate event. It is about what we're going to do now, and my call is that we all
Going to the idea for men to take a stand, and is the UDP able to do that?
Let me assist you this way. Since you insist on identifying persons who must do things, when will Jules Vasquez of Tropical Vision take a stand? When will the other media houses take a stand? The only person who did not take responsibility when it visited this political party is not sitting at this head is the fact that you have to my left the Honorable Tracy Taylor coming from the leader of the opposition, standing on the shoulders of these great men around us.
And we'll have more from that press conference later on in the newscast. But first, we take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk to the foreign minister about those U.S. Army attacks on alleged drug vessels in Caribbean waters. Stay tuned.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Remember, not all light bulbs are created equal. Our lighting department offers a wide assortment of light fixtures and accessories to suit your style. So stop in today and get the right illumination for your home occasion. And don't forget your B-Box when you make a purchase. Benny's, quality and savings.
Your government is taking back ownership of our hydro dams and power generation plants, and all shares held in BEL by the foreign-owned Fortis. Belizean assets in the hands of Belizeans. Fully Belizean owned and managed with all local employees. Our nation's premier source of clean power generation is now in our hands. Revenues made in Belize will now stay in Belize. Remember, energy security equals economic independence. Your government continues to put Belizeans first.
There are so many people who are proud of you. your parents, your guardians, your aunts, your uncles, your siblings, faculty, and friends. They are there too. They share in this achievement. Please give them a bigger round of applause. Graduates, you have a sacred duty, a generational responsibility even. You have to honor those who came before you by standing taller, stronger, go farther, go further, go harder. But stand together for one another. And lastly, but certainly not least, thank God, always call to Him. He will be there for you.
These charter remains aren't
We're navigating along the coastline.
This morning, the 2023
Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Cherie Culsel,
and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News Tonight. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight. Good evening. With your news, I'm a bureaucrat.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Your government is taking back ownership of our hydro dams and power generation plants, and all shares held in BEL by the foreign-owned Fortis. Belizean assets in the hands of Belizeans. Under Fortis, every single year, the cost of power sold to BEL automatically increased by 1.5%. No more. Government will abolish that increase, saving Belizean power consumers $50 million. Remember, energy security equals economic independence. Your government continues to put Belizeans first.
At Atlantic Bank, we stand as more than just a financial institution. We are your partners in progress, dedicated to fostering your success by providing tailored solutions to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Your successes are our triumphs, and every success story deserves to be celebrated. We pledge to stand by you every step of the way. Today, we celebrate the values that define you with your unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment, boundless innovation, resolute work ethic, and unyielding ambition. We will navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and continue building the future together.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your Nation Station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
And it was just a case management conference, but a crew of legal heavyweights rumbled into the courtroom of Justice Tawanda Ondora today. It's a start of a major case, which is one more front being opened in the battle over State Bank Key. Ousted developer Mike Feinstein has a new pair of international attorneys who are challenging an arbitral award given to OPSA, the Honduran company which now owns the island. The new Feinstein attorneys are British and included a King's Counsel and highly regarded barristers. The trial date has been set for March of next year. Meanwhile, for the last 2 nights, we've been reporting on the mini saga of Isani Stain, whose 5-year-old son, Kwesi, was left to wander the streets near Ponyard Bridge when he didn't get off the school bus, that is, at the right stop. Well, tonight, he has nothing but thanks for the Good Samaritan who saved the boy, and that's Wilbert Zelaya, a sort of chaperone hired by parents to make sure their kids get onto the bus safely. That means loading them on the bus in Balama and then riding to Ponyard to walk them to school when they get off. It's a 3-mile ride trying to beat the bus, which he always manages to do. But Isani Stain says he would like to gift Zelaya a motorcycle, and he's asking for your help. Here's more.
Man, story could have been totally different. But today I smile and I'm happy because I found out who got my son, and also I could sleep with this weekend. So I would really want Mr. Zelila. He have a good weekend this weekend, yeah.
How you want to help out the man?
Alright, so what I made a plan for though is that I want to host a little donation so that we could try to get Mr. Zelila a little motorcycle, because if that is his job, picking up kids from the school bus and carrying to school, most definitely that would have helped him a lot instead of the ride up and down on a bicycle, because you don't know, anything could happen. But to me, I feel like the man need a blessing there because he deserve a lot, man. But me personally, I could have never repaid a man for what he did that day there. This is the smallest thing I would have wanted to do. That us, if anybody could help with a donation, so we could get our cycles for Mr. Zelila and make him have a blessed weekend, same way how I had my weekend, you know? So if anybody do want to donate, I have my bank account, or Atlantic bank account. My account number is 212-000-9847. Anything where anybody want to donate or send, it don't really matter, man. I will put my half, and whosoever want to help me, I really appreciate it. So maximum target which I reach at $3,000. Once we can reach $3,000, we go to the Hindu right away. I carry Mr. Jules, we get this bike and do a little interview with Mr. Wilbert and make the man smile more bigger than how he is right now. Because I smile today and I smile from the day Mr. Jules helped me, my smile keep going up. So I want that be for him as well.
Again, that account number is 212-000-9847. And since late August, the U.S. has been increasing its military presence in the Caribbean and has been striking what it declares without proof to be narco vessels. Many Caribbean leaders have frowned on this, saying that it is an intrusion into what has been a zone of peace. Well, Foreign Minister Francis Fonseca has said that they are in discussions with CARICOM, and the goal is to ensure that the Caribbean remains a zone of peace. Here's what he told us today.
We're very, very concerned about these latest actions and the sort of military buildup in the Caribbean Sea. And these, what are extrajudicial killings. So, we have, of course, as a responsible government, we have engaged with our partners and friends in CARICOM. So we're having a discussion about that issue. As you all know, CARICOM issued a very firm statement on the issue, expressing our concern. Belize was a part of putting that statement together. So we stand in solidarity with CARICOM on this issue. We're very concerned. We want to ensure that the Caribbean remains a zone of peace. That is absolutely critically important to us as a country and to our CARICOM brothers and sisters. And, we want to maintain the fundamental principle of international law that, if you suspect that people are trafficking drugs or that they're engaged in criminal activity, that there's a process to deal with those individuals. So that there are no unilateral decisions to kill people, as I said, extrajudicial killings or militarization of the zone. Now, we understand very well, Belize understands, that there is a serious problem with narco trafficking and human trafficking. And we want to be a part of any discussion to resolve that issue, to confront that issue. Belize is very serious about confronting that issue. So we're fully prepared to work with the United States on addressing that issue. CARICOM is fully prepared to work with the United States on addressing that issue. But let's do it in a respectful way, and in a way that ensures that we are meeting our commitments to international law and international conventions. So that is our position.
A statement by former CARICOM prime ministers, including Dean Barrow and Said Musa, is reported to be in the offing. And we also met Fonseca at a stakeholder consultation by the Ministry of Immigration to shape the strategic direction that they are planning to take. The 2.5-hour consultation included a panel discussion where questions and concerns from the stakeholders were answered. Afterwards, we asked the minister more about their plans for the ministry.
It's a consultation. The Ministry of Immigration over the past 18 months has been working on a strategic work plan for the Ministry of Immigration. We got a consultant who came in to work along with the ministry, along with our management team at the ministry, the directors, to formulate this strategic plan that will look at all of the changes necessary to make the Ministry of Immigration more effective, more efficient in the delivery of its services. So that will mean we will have to have legal reforms is a central component of that. How can we improve customer service? How can we improve communication? And of course, how can we streamline all of the procedures that govern the work of the Ministry of Immigration? How can we make them more effective, more efficient, as I said? And so this is a part of that consultation process. This is the strategic plan that we have prepared. We want to present it to the public. We want to present it today to our stakeholders for their feedback and for their input. So that was the purpose of today's discussion.
Were there any concerns expressed?
Well, as you pointed out, we had at the end of the session today, we had a question and answer session. So a number of questions were raised and queries were made. And so we responded to some of those. There are many others that we could not respond to because of time. So we will be responding to those. So yes, there were questions asked and concerns raised, and we tried to address those as best as possible. I think just generally the point of view that, listen, the whole legal framework, the work of immigration is very much about establishing a good, proper legal framework to underpin that work. And so I think the general feeling is and understanding is that there has to be a lot of reform, that we're still way behind, we need to catch up. We're in 2025. So there's a lot of work to do. And of course, I think the other important point that was made was how much we can use technology and innovation to deliver these services in a more effective, efficient way.
And now turning back to today's 2-hour-long UDP press conference. The party reacted to Monday's Senate meeting where the leader of government business, Senator Eamon Courtney, mocked the opposition for, quote, loving pedophiles. That was in response to the UDP wearing those Who Teef Budna t-shirts at Friday's House sitting. Well, here's how the leader of the opposition responded today.
The United Democratic Party supports the rule of law. There must be an independent investigation on what transpired with the beating, kidnapping, and handing over of Mr. Joseph Budna to hostile territory. It is not, as some are promoting, that we're supporting a pedophile. In fact, let it be placed on record that I abhor pedophiles. This is an infringement on the rights and fundamental freedoms of our Belizean citizens. If it can happen to Mr. Budna, it can happen to anyone in this room. May I reiterate, it seems to me that the government has no intention, none whatsoever, on having or convening an independent investigation. They're hoping that we will be so distracted by the so many things that are coming through the pipeline that we will lose sight of the request for an independent investigation. If there is nothing to hide, if indeed the perpetrators of this heinous crime are rogue members of the police department, then we must insist, that the perpetrators are held to account. The question remains, who is the government protecting and why? Let's not get distracted by the suggestion that the personality of Mr. Budna takes precedence in this matter. It is the blatant disregard for our Constitution. It is the blatant disregard for our sovereignty. It is the blatant disregard for the rights and fundamental freedoms of our citizens that warrant us to remain ever vigilant until justice prevails.
And the UDP's senior senator, Patrick Faber, also took a stand for Budna. Here's how he put it.
As a former foreign minister, when one of our citizens, be he a pedophile or be he not, is kidnapped and taken by a country that is an enemy to Belize, and you will get up there and behave like a sissy. And just say, I know this, I know that, I know that. That is what they think of the Belizean people. We are not here to defend any action that Mr. Budna did. But Mr. Budna is a citizen of Belize, and the same thing can happen to anybody in this country. And if you are not worried about that, when they come for you, no hail me.
And Senator Faber also criticized his PUP colleagues for participating in a debate about the public purchase of the hydro dams after his firms had represented Fortis Inc. Here's more.
The second thing he did was to get up nonchalantly and say, oh, well, either the liar for Fortis, but you're the liar for Fortis, Koida, your law partner, and uno want vote today if you approve 300 million or 200 or whatever amount of millions it is. You will vote now for us to pay Mr. Fortis that. But they are so arrogant, they stand there in the Senate and they tell you, do your next best. I don't do what I have to do. I don't tell you no, what am my conflict, uno do the next best.
That came at the end of Faber's presentation on the dams where, like the leader of the opposition, he insisted that the dams should remain in public hands and not be sold into local private ownership.
In one weekend, between Friday and Monday, they rammed through our National Assembly the authority to borrow $330 million Belize dollars without even the parliamentarians knowing the details to any great extent. But the reason they want to buy it is in order to sell it, and they're saying to sell it to local hands, and then they get up and they preach patriotism. We're doing this for Belize. We are now going to take it out of the foreign Canadian hands of Fortis, and we're going to put it in the hands of Belizeans. This is what they're trumpeting. Those persons who are going to buy these shares want the profit. They are into it for profit. And so when the Prime Minister and his government tells us, and now we're in a Belizean hands now, the safest place for those shares, because we support buying it back, is in the hand of the Belizean people. The government should own it, because the government is the right entity who will be able to say, you know what, the poor people, they need one leave break. They need one leave reduction. Instead, you hear the Prime Minister saying, no reduction. It's going to come at you in full force. They are trying to get fat. The reason why these deals are so clandestine, the reason why they are so secretive is ultimately they want to create their own millionaires. They want to create their own financiers to keep them in office for perpetuity on the backs of the Belizean people.
Fact-checking Faber, the full amount of the hydro dams and the BEL shares is 256 million Belize dollars. And keeping it on the subject of water, UDP Area Rep Lee Mark Chang spoke about BWSL, which is asking for a 20% increase in rates. He says the company is rife with wastage. Here's more.
Why do they suddenly need a massive 20% increase? Where do I do the money? Today, BWS and government has increased the debt of BWS from $58 million at the end of March 2020 to $107 million at the end of March 2025. First, the management team was increased from 9 to 16. Staff increased from 285 at a cost of $13 million in 2021 to 346 at a cost of $70.2 million in 2025, a $4.2 million increase in labor. Donations, 2021, 70,000, and now it's at $582,000. My God, I need to start sending my letter to BWS for start to get some donations. Travel, 198,000, 2021. 2025, $341,000. Boy, I need to start travel more with the people, boy.
And turning now to other news, UNFPA has partnered with Global Affairs Canada for a project called Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention in both Belize and Suriname. The purpose is to address the root causes of adolescent pregnancy, particularly across the indigenous populations. It's a 5-year partnership that seeks to strengthen reproductive rights and health in targeted communities. The head of Development Corporation for Belize explained more in detail.
It's a very proud moment for us. It's a very important project for us. Canada, the core values of Canada include gender equality, maternal health, human rights, and environmental protection. And this covers a couple of our core priorities. And what is especially proud for us is the fact that we are trying to be inclusive to the most marginal and the most vulnerable of the populations, indigenous women and girls, or young women and girls, who find themselves in a situation where they are marginalized from economic life and social life by virtue of an unplanned pregnancy or early pregnancy. We hope that amongst the things that this project will achieve are better health standards, more awareness, and better health system coordination for them, and therefore a better economic life, social life. We all know, and I will say that in my remarks, that early pregnancy, unplanned pregnancy force young women and girls out of the economic sphere. They lead to poorer economic outcomes. They make the community more impoverished as a result. They snatch them away from a life of wellness and earning and livelihoods. And so we hope that will be reversed by this project.
And we take a break now, but when we come back, Belize's male volleyball team returns from Guatemala angry. They say they were robbed of a medal. Stay tuned for that story and more.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
At Atlantic Bank, we stand as more than just a financial institution. We are your partners in progress, dedicated to fostering your success by providing tailored solutions to micro, small, and medium enterprises. Your successes are our triumphs, and every success story deserves to be celebrated. We pledge to stand by you every step of the way. Today, we celebrate the values that define you with your unwavering dedication, steadfast commitment, boundless innovation, resolute work ethic, and unyielding ambition. We will navigate challenges, seize opportunities, and continue building the future together.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We continue our newscast with a story now of cultural celebration. With about one more week left in October, the Garifuna Council is gearing up for the November celebrations. Today was the launch of the calendar of events in Belize City, and according to the branch president, Rafael Martinez, there's plenty to do right here. If you can't make it, down south. Here's more.
What I want to highlight is our main event that's coming up this weekend. This weekend is the selection of the Miss Garifuna Queen. And last year we had 7 candidates, and this year 8 showed up, but we whittled it down to 4. So it should be a very tight, very interesting, because the young ladies will be showcasing what we call Garifuna Duo. That is the Garifuna heritage, the Garifuna culture, the Garifuna dance, singing, and the presentation, including the attire. So it should be very interesting, and this will be taking place at the Belize Elementary School Auditorium, starting at 6:30 in the evening. This is going towards a worthy cause in retrieving and, of course, the preservation and the practice of the Garifuna culture, especially language that we've been losing for so long. Quite a few of us in Belize City grew up without actually speaking the Garifuna language. So it's something that is near and dear to my heart. And there's also another program that we're looking at sometime soon that I want to be a part of, is an intervention regarding the violence in Belize City. The national pageant will be taking place on the 1st of November. Prior to that, though, on the 1st, we have what we call the Solidarity Mass. The Solidarity Mass starts at 10 o'clock. It's a Thanksgiving service. And we should be having a representation from all the Garifuna groups, the branches, throughout this country of Belize, from Libertad all the way to Barranco in PG. And after the Solidarity Mass, there's a meet and greet that everybody meets and greet each other. We try to exchange best practices and all this. Then we should be having a motorcade through the principal streets of Belize City. It's a prerequisite for a prelude for the Miss Garifuna pageant that will start off at 7 p.m. at the Belize Civic Center, 7 p.m., 1st of November, Belize City Center.
So what else can people look forward here in Belize City, especially those who maybe can't make it to the Dangriga on the 19th?
Man, I'm glad you asked that question. Because on the 18th and the 19th, let me tell you, there's a food and music festival on the 18th and 19th at the Belize Civic Center open lot. And trust me, we have Garifuna cuisine. We have a lineup of artists and drummers. We also have, man, listen, just come out. Because 18th and 19th, we have the reenactment there on the 19th morning. We have the official ceremonies. We're having a parade. Listen, 18th and 19th, from 6 p.m. on the 18th to 6 p.m. on the 19th, you will be there.
The prices for the tickets are $10 for general, $15 for reserve, and $5 for children. And switching gears now, as we showed you earlier, a very sad triple funeral was held today in Orange Walk for Angelita Magana and her 2 children. All 3 of them died as a result of an arson murder in San Felipe Village. Well, today, the National Student Union of Belize issued a press release on the tragedy, particularly on behalf of Shadia Magana, who was a student at Muffles Junior College. They emphasized that it was a systemic failure that led to the murder of her and her family. According to the director of events, Jaliza Roberts, while this tragedy cannot be undone, it can be used as a springboard to change the culture of domestic violence in Belize. We spoke with her via Zoom today.
I think something that was brought to our attention was that this was definitely a systemic failure. It was something that they were not failed at one level. It was different levels of society that failed them and failed the family. And so what our president brought to our attention is that eventually we need to start taking individual responsibility for the things that happen in our country. And as students and citizens, it is our duty to stand up for the different atrocities that happen, whether it affects us directly or indirectly. We are a part of a collective, we're a part of a country, and we're a part of a union. I think something that we wanted to bring to light was how little education we have when it comes to domestic violence situations. We discuss things when they happen. And I think that speaks to the reality that in Belize, it's a very reactive society. We live in a reactive society. When something happens, everyone will post what they need to post. They'll wear their shirts, they'll issue a press release, and even we're guilty of this. But what we're trying to do is we cannot bring them back. That's essentially what the press release is saying, that we cannot bring them back. But we can make steps to ensure that things like this don't happen again. You know, there's a phrase that says once bitten, twice shy. And I think sometimes in Belize, we get bitten too many times. And so as a union, we're kind of trying to be proactive. We're in the process actually of planning a forum that will speak about domestic violence and the need for greater education and how from a young age, even when you're in school from the tertiary and secondary level, you get in these relationships and sometimes you don't see the red flags or you don't see the signs that can result in these domestic issues. We know of several cases where persons are young, under 20, and already getting abused, whether it be emotionally, physically. You know, there are different levels to it, but it has a root cause. And so the importance is that we find the root as a nation and as a people, and we address it and understand that we are all responsible because we're our brothers and our sisters' keeper. I've already contacted the commissioner of police. He's already been okay with the idea. He's approved the idea. And so as a team, we're coming together right now and seeing who all we can collaborate with. We're looking into definitely speaking with the special envoy, but also representatives from the Ministry of Human Development, because we need our leaders to understand that as much as you might think that young people are uninterested, we're here, we're willing, and we want to work towards a better release.
And we continue with one of our top stories. The Belizean athletes who attended the 12th Central American Games started to return home from Guatemala today, including the delegations of male and female volleyball, male softball, athletics and tennis, and fencing. Now, we cannot say they came home draped in glory. For example, Belize softball men lost 0-10 versus Honduras, 0-10 versus Panama, 0-15 versus Costa Rica, and 0-10 versus Guatemala on Tuesday, and 0-9 versus Nicaragua. But Nyasha Harris did get silver in the 100 meters, while Brandon Jones got the bronze in the triple jump. And, of course, the girls' volleyball team got their first bronze. We spoke to a rep when they returned. Here's more.
We went out there with a lot of injuries, and we played it off pretty well. As a team, we were well prepared mentally and physically. We dedicate our time, ourselves to it because we had 2 workouts in the morning and the night.
With how much pride will you carry this medal?
Well, to be honest, this medal really and truly feel like gold to me. Not just bronze, but gold.
This is one of the biggest, I would say the biggest upset since we beat Guatemala twice in this tournament. So I'm happy for the girls, not for me, for the girls. Because before we left, everybody was a bit shaken up, injured, and they played through it. And they even got sick over there, and they still played through it.
I'd say my experience was fun, tiring, and exciting all at the same time, being able to play against the different countries, being to represent our own country, and doing our best to be able to bring back at least this bronze medal, which is still historic.
I try to enjoy the moment since this is going to be my last national team. And so I just thought that being the senior member, the veteran as they put it, I tried to keep the girls calm. And although I was nervous, I tried not to show it so that we came out victorious. We were hoping for the goal, but just getting a medal means a lot for me. I can hang up my jersey happily knowing that we did make history.
It was honestly an honor. We not only played, but we was in parades. We was greeted by the Guatemalans very nicely. So I was actually surprised about that with all of the, drama that's going on there. But it was an honor. Usually I'm used to playing with the younger girls, but being on the senior team and seeing how much heart and dedication and commitment they had, and then also seeing the boys play in the evening, we were feeding off of each other. So it was honestly an experience of a lifetime for me.
Llegó el servicio Henderson.
Levanta Cuero, coloca Castillo, se queda. Victoria para Belice. 25-18 en el tercer set. 3-0 y Belice.
And the male volleyball team was supposed to get a medal, but they were robbed on a bad call at the net in this indecisive moment of the bronze medal match. Well, today, returning home without any hardware. After a long trip, no one from the team wanted to talk, but their female counterparts did speak for them.
When I tell you the boys were literally fighting like so hard, they had so much heart, and when we came in like the second set, they came back up, you know, so I'm thinking, you know, they finna win, you know, they finna also make history with us as well. But some other people also said, you know, this is how we're able to advocate for better referees instead of having developing referees doing the matches for, you know, historical events. The boys really could have won, but because of the call that she called, she disappointed a lot of Belizeans. So I'm very disappointed at that. I hope that we can invest in better referees for those type of matches, because that was very disappointing. But they still was able to congratulate us. So big up the Belize male team for, you know, fighting their hardest and keeping it on the court.
The male team lead members, that is, won a number of individual honors, though. Kyron Sutherland won second best blocker. Francis Haas also won second best blocker. And for the women, Nelisa Ramirez won best scorer. And from Guatemala to Belize to Honduras. For the past 2 days, we've been reporting on the Central American Travel Market event in San Pedro Sula, Honduras. And while we have been looking at it from the Marco level, today our team in Honduras spoke to individual resorts and tourist interests who are making their pitches to large regional and global travel agencies. Our very own Jo Marie Lanza reports.
On day 2 of the Central American Travel Market, we spoke to some of the Belize vendors and service providers to see what they are offering and promoting to the destination management companies. They say it all depends on what they are looking for and how big of a group they want to bring to Belize. And for those in search of a bit more exclusivity, the Belize Barrier Reef Properties saw the event as a way to promote their newest investment, Magenta Key, a luxury private island.
It's our second consecutive year. Last year we were at El Salvador, and this year we're at Honduras. And we're offering a beachfront experience representing Blue Zen Resort in Peacocker. It's been a very successful conference for us thus far. We've had very good meetings with a lot of agents that are very interested in doing business with us. Blue Zen is the Zen itself is what we're trying to offer to the clients. Is the experience, the holistic experience, and pretty much what we're trying to do is a beachfront experience mixed with a Zen feeling. People come to relax, to enjoy the beach at Peacocker, peace and tranquility. We have our spa that complements the product that we're trying to represent. So we have a brand new product. It's called Zenzi's Hotel. It's going to be a 44-room hotel that is also going to be available pretty soon as next month. November 8th is we're planning as the soft opening, and that product is meant to complement what we're trying to offer at Blue Zen as well. It's going to be high-end, very nice hotel rooms. The Blue Zen, currently we're offering condo units. Zenzi's is going to be hotel rooms.
We're here to promote San Ignacio and also our hotel, starting from all the activities and where we're located and all the tours, all the transportation services we offer at Cajalpech. Cajalpech is a very large hotel in San Ignacio, very large, total of 73 rooms, and we could accommodate groups. We could accommodate for single travelers, right? And we do basically an all-inclusive. So if at any time any customer would like to do an all-inclusive with Cajalpech, we cater for that service.
And for those in search of a bit more exclusivity, the Belize Barrier Reef Properties saw the event as a way to promote their newest investment, Magenta Key, a luxury private island.
So at Belize Barrier Reef Properties, we actually operate Brisa Oceano Resort, which is centrally located in Placencia Village. And our new product that we're promoting is Magenta Key, which is a luxury private island located 6 miles in front of Placencia. Basically, we've prepared our media kits. We've been preparing for a couple of months now, and we're offering for a mid-tier product, which is our Brisa Oceano Resort, which basically we offer condos on the beach. We have 24 rooms that can be configured into studios, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, or 3-bedroom condos that are right on the beach. We actually have one of the biggest beaches in Placencia area. We offer volleyball, kayaks, paddleboards for our guests. We have Paramount Adventures, which is our tour company, and this company is what we use to source the logistics for our 2 properties, basically excursions and transfers and that sort of stuff. So we are offering package deals as well for them. Other than that, we're also promoting or trying to get the name out for a new property called Magenta Key. It's a luxury private island. We actually have dedicated a lot of talent or to develop this product. I've selected top talent from the different other properties that to join us, our team there. We have some of the best chefs in the country. Anderson Morales that actually won the BTB Master Chef competition is with us. We have bartenders that have actually competed in Panama and won. Our other chef actually has been on private islands of this tier for the past 10 years or so. So that's the type of product that we're trying to promote. We've actually gotten very good feedback from the travel agents, the DMCs, and the tour operators that are around.
And yesterday, the event got a big boost when Honduran President Xiomara Castro visited, an indicator of how big this fair is and how important a national priority tourism is to all the Central American nations. She drew a huge throng of press in her VIP tour of the fair. Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
And that's 7 News for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi. You can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook or YouTube pages. Have a good night and join Indra Craig back here tomorrow.